What if I told you that the smallest coin in your pocket could secretly be worth more than a luxury car? And most people have no idea. Every single day, millions of dimes pass through hands without a second glance. But a few of them carry rare mint mistakes that collectors are desperately searching for right now. One tiny detail, one hidden error, or one perfect condition coin could completely change its value. Before you spend your next dime, you need to see this. What if the tiny dime hiding in your pocket right now could be worth more than a luxury sports car? Stay with me, because one ordinary-looking 1991 P dime shocked collectors with its incredible value. Most people believe valuable coins have to be centuries old, but that's not always true. Sometimes a modern dime can become one of the most exciting discoveries a collector could ever make. There is something fascinating about everyday coins. They pass through thousands of hands, disappear into pockets, fall beneath car seats, and collect dust inside forgotten jars. Almost no one gives them a second glance because they seem too common to matter. But every now and then, an ordinary-looking coin breaks every expectation. It reminds us that incredible treasures don't always come wrapped in gold or hidden inside ancient chests. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight. That is exactly why the 1991 P Roosevelt dime has captured the attention of collectors across the country. At first glance, it appears completely ordinary. Yet certain examples have become remarkably desirable, leaving many people wondering whether they have unknowingly spent one of these hidden treasures years ago. The story begins in 1991, when the United States Mint was producing coins by the hundreds of millions to keep up with the nation's growing need for everyday change. The Philadelphia Mint was one of the busiest facilities in the country, striking an enormous number of Roosevelt dimes for circulation. Since production was so massive, no one expected these coins to become especially valuable. They were created for one simple purpose: to make daily transactions easier. They bought cups of coffee, paid parking meters, and disappeared into cash registers across America. Yet history has shown that even the most common coins can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. The Roosevelt dime itself carries a meaningful history. Introduced in 1946, it honors President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, whose leadership guided the nation through difficult times. Roosevelt also played an important role in supporting efforts to fight polio, a disease that affected millions. Because of his dedication, the March of Dimes campaign became closely associated with his legacy, making the dime a fitting tribute. Decades later, the same design continued onto the 1991 P issue, preserving a tradition that millions of Americans recognize instantly. On the front of the coin, Roosevelt's portrait faces left with calm determination. Around him appear the familiar inscriptions, including Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1991. Just beside the date sits the small but important P mint mark, identifying Philadelphia as the place where the coin was struck. While tiny, this letter immediately separates it from dimes produced at other mint facilities, making it an essential detail for collectors examining their coins. Turning the coin over reveals another elegant design. A torch stands proudly in the center, representing liberty and enlightenment. On one side rests an olive branch, symbolizing peace, while the oak branch on the opposite side represents strength and independence. Together, these simple elements create one of the most recognizable reverse designs in American coinage. Although many people overlook these artistic details, collectors appreciate the symbolism that has remained virtually unchanged for generations. The 1991 P dime is composed of a copper core surrounded by layers of nickel, giving it the familiar silver appearance despite containing no actual silver. It weighs approximately 2.27 grams and measures just under 18 millimeters in diameter. These precise specifications help experts determine whether a coin remains authentic or if something unusual occurred during the minting process. Even a slight difference in weight or appearance can become an important clue when evaluating a potentially rare example. What transforms an ordinary 1991 P dime into something collectors eagerly search for is not its age, but its condition and the possibility of mint errors. During the minting process, enormous machines operated at incredible speeds. Even with strict quality control, tiny mistakes occasionally slip through. Some coins display dramatic off-center strikes, while others may feature doubled lettering, die cracks, clipped planchets, or other striking abnormalities. These unusual characteristics instantly separate them from the millions of standard coins produced that year. Even without major errors, a perfectly preserved example showing sharp details, brilliant luster, and virtually no signs of circulation can become highly desirable among advanced collectors. This is where the story becomes truly exciting. Imagine discovering a 1991 P dime that not only escaped circulation, but also retained its original mint brilliance for decades. Add an exceptional strike or a remarkable mint error, and suddenly an everyday coin enters an entirely different category. Under the right circumstances, collectors have valued outstanding examples at around $80,000, proving that rarity is often created by quality rather than age alone. Professional grading plays a huge role in determining whether a coin reaches this level. Experts carefully examine every surface under magnification, looking for tiny scratches, contact marks, discoloration, and the overall sharpness of the strike. They also evaluate the coin's original luster, which is often one of the first qualities to fade after circulation. Only the finest examples receive the highest grades, and those elite coins become the ones that collectors compete to own. Many people unknowingly reduce the value of their coins by cleaning them. It may seem like polishing a coin would improve its appearance, but collectors generally prefer untouched surfaces. Cleaning leaves microscopic scratches that permanently alter the original finish. A coin with natural toning and untouched mint luster is almost always more desirable than one that has been polished to shine. For anyone who believes they have found an unusual 1991 P dime, the smartest decision is to leave it exactly as it is until it can be examined by professionals. Another reason this coin continues to fascinate collectors is the thrill of possibility. Unlike many famous rare coins that disappeared into private collections decades ago, the 1991 P dime still has a chance of appearing in circulation, old piggy banks, inherited collections, or forgotten coin albums. Every handful of loose change becomes a miniature treasure hunt. Most coins will be ordinary, but it only takes one extraordinary discovery to completely change the story. That possibility keeps collectors searching every single day. They inspect mint marks, study tiny details through magnifying glasses, and compare their finds with known varieties, hoping to uncover something special that everyone else overlooked. It is this combination of history, mystery, craftsmanship, and chance that makes coin collecting so addictive. Every coin has a story, but only a select few have the potential to surprise the entire collecting community. And that brings us to the incredible finale. While the vast majority of 1991 P dimes remain worth only their face value, the absolute finest examples, especially those with spectacular mint errors, exceptional preservation, and top professional grades, have reached astonishing levels, with extraordinary specimens valued at $120,000. That means a coin small enough to fit on your fingertip could represent one of the most exciting discoveries hiding in everyday change. So before you spend another dime, take a few moments to inspect the ones already in your pocket. You never know what incredible treasure might be waiting to be found. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more valuable coins that could still be hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next amazing coin hunt. Millions of 1993 P dimes exist, but only a few carry the secret that turns ordinary change into a collector's dream. There is something strange about the way we treat small coins. We barely notice them, we rarely examine them, and most of the time, we are eager to get rid of them. A dime feels insignificant, almost invisible in daily life. Yet history has proven again and again that the smallest coins can sometimes hold the biggest surprises. The 1993 P Roosevelt dime is one of those quiet mysteries hiding in plain sight. It looks like any other modern coin, but for collectors who understand what to look for, it becomes a fascinating puzzle filled with hidden potential, minting secrets, and rare variations that most people will never notice. Back in 1993, the United States Mint was operating at full speed, producing massive quantities of coins to support everyday commerce. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark, was responsible for striking millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes. These coins were not designed to be rare. They were made for circulation. Coins that would move through cash registers, vending machines, toll booths, and pockets across America without anyone giving them a second thought. Because of this huge production volume, most 1993p dimes remain extremely common today, which is exactly why so many people overlook them completely. But even in large-scale production, perfection is never absolute. Inside the mint, powerful machines strike metal blanks at incredible speed. Each coin passes through dies under extreme pressure, and even a tiny imperfection can create something unusual. This is where the story of the 1993p dime becomes interesting. While the vast majority are ordinary, certain rare examples exist with subtle errors or unusual characteristics that dramatically increase their importance in the eyes of collectors. The design of the Roosevelt dime itself adds to its historical appeal. On the front, you see President Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left with a calm and determined expression. His portrait honors a leader who guided the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. Around his image are the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year 1993, along with the small P mint mark indicating Philadelphia production. That tiny letter may seem insignificant, but for collectors, it is a critical detail that helps identify where and how the coin was made. On the reverse side, the design remains one of the most symbolic in American coinage. A torch stands in the center, representing liberty. To one side is an olive branch symbolizing peace, and to the other is an oak branch representing strength and independence. Together, these elements reflect the core values of the nation. It is a design that has remained consistent for decades, yet most people never take the time to appreciate the meaning behind it. The 1993p dime is composed of a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving it its familiar silver-like appearance. It weighs approximately 2.27 grams and measures about 17.9 millimeters in diameter. These specifications are standard for modern Roosevelt dimes, and at first glance, there is nothing that seems unusual. But in coin collecting, the real value is not always in the standard features. It is in the exceptions. Some 1993p dimes stand out because of minting errors. These errors can happen in several ways. A die might become slightly misaligned, causing a doubled image. A planchet, the blank metal disc, might be improperly cut, leaving a clipped or incomplete edge. In some rare cases, the coin may show weak strikes where parts of the design appear faded or missing due to insufficient pressure during minting. Each of these imperfections transforms a regular coin into something far more interesting for collectors. Condition also plays a huge role in value. A coin that has never been circulated, known as being in mint state, can be dramatically more desirable than one that has been worn down through years of use. The difference between a heavily circulated dime and a flawless, uncirculated example is enormous in the eyes of collectors. Even a small improvement in condition can significantly affect how rare a coin appears in the marketplace. This is where things start to become exciting. Imagine discovering a 1993p dime that not only remains in exceptional mint condition, but also carries a rare mint error, something that escaped quality control all those years ago. In the world of numismatics, such a combination can push a coin far beyond expectations, with some outstanding examples reaching around $85,000 depending on grade, rarity, and demand among collectors. Professional grading services play a crucial role in determining that value. Experts carefully examine coins under high magnification, checking for scratches, wear, luster, strike quality, and surface preservation. They assign a grade that reflects the coin's overall condition. A higher grade means sharper details, stronger shine, and fewer imperfections. The difference between one grade level and another can mean thousands of dollars in value. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning their coins. It might seem like polishing a dime would make it more valuable, but in reality, cleaning destroys its natural surface. It creates tiny scratches that are invisible to the naked eye, but clearly visible under magnification. Collectors strongly prefer original, untouched coins, even if they are slightly toned or aged, because they preserve authenticity. Another reason the 1993p dime continues to attract attention is because it is still relatively modern. Unlike ancient coins that are locked away in collections, these dimes still appear in circulation today. That means there is always a small but real chance that someone could discover a valuable example in everyday pocket change, old coin rolls, or forgotten jars. This keeps the excitement alive for collectors who enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Most people will never take a second look at a dime, but collectors know better. They examine mint marks, inspect edges, and study tiny details that others ignore. They understand that every coin has a story, and sometimes that story includes a hidden mistake that turned an ordinary object into something extraordinary. That curiosity is what drives the entire hobby forward. And finally, here is where the story reaches its peak. While most 1993p dimes are only worth their face value, the most exceptional known examples, those with top grades, rare mint errors, and perfect preservation, have reached astonishing levels, with elite specimens valued as high as $120,000. It is a reminder that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hold a secret worth far more than anyone expects. So the next time you receive change, take a closer look. That ordinary-looking dime might not be ordinary at all. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, because the next coin we uncover might be hiding an even bigger secret. A coin so common that nobody cares about it. Yet a rare version could completely change the way you look at your spare change forever. Most people don't think twice about a dime. It is one of the smallest pieces of money in circulation, often ignored, tossed into jars, or spent without even a glance. But sometimes, the most overlooked objects carry the most surprising stories. The 1981 D. Roosevelt dime is one of those coins that appears ordinary at first sight, yet has quietly gained attention among collectors who know that even modern coins can hide rare and valuable secrets. It is not about the age, but about what happened during the moment it was created. In 1981, the United States Mint was working under heavy demand, producing enormous quantities of coins for everyday use. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark, struck millions of Roosevelt dimes that year. These coins were designed for circulation, not for rarity or prestige. They were meant to move quickly through the economy, used in vending machines, parking meters, grocery stores, and anywhere small change was needed. Because of this mass production, most 1981 D dimes remain extremely common today, often found in loose change or old coin collections without much attention. The Roosevelt dime itself carries deep historical meaning. First introduced in 1946, it honors President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader who guided the United States through some of its most difficult years. His connection to the March of Dimes campaign made the dime a fitting tribute to his legacy. Even in 1981, decades after its introduction, the design still remained unchanged, continuing to represent strength, leadership, and national unity. On the front of the coin, Roosevelt's portrait is clearly visible, facing left with calm determination. Surrounding him are the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year 1981. Just beside the date sits the small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was produced in Denver. That tiny letter might seem unimportant, but for collectors, it is the first clue that helps identify the coin's origin and possible variations. The reverse side of the dime features a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty. On either side of the torch are two branches, an olive branch representing peace, and an oak branch representing strength and independence. Together, they form one of the most symbolic designs in U.S. coinage history. While most people barely notice these details, collectors often study them closely, searching for anything unusual in the strike or alignment. The 1981 D dime is made of a copper core covered with a nickel layer, giving it its familiar silver-like appearance. It weighs approximately 2.27 grams and measures about 17.9 millimeters in diameter. These specifications make it identical to most modern Roosevelt dimes, which is exactly why it is so easy to overlook. At first glance, nothing seems special about it. But in the world of coin collecting, appearances can be deceiving. What makes the 1981 D dime interesting is not its basic design, but the small number of rare errors that can exist. During the minting process, coins are struck at extremely high speed. Sometimes, the machinery is slightly misaligned, or a die begins to wear out, creating imperfections that pass through quality control unnoticed. These mistakes can result in doubled lettering, weak strikes, off-center designs, or even missing details in parts of the coin. While most of these errors are minor, some can become highly desirable among collectors. Condition is another major factor. A 1981 D dime that has been heavily circulated may be worth only its face value, but an uncirculated example, one that has never been used in transactions, can be significantly more attractive. The difference lies in the surface quality, shine, and sharpness of details. A coin that retains its original mint luster, without scratches or wear, stands out immediately to experienced collectors. This is where the story becomes more exciting. Imagine discovering a 1981 D dime that not only remains in flawless mint condition, but also carries a rare mint error that slipped past inspection all those years ago. Such a combination can transform a simple coin into a highly sought-after collectible. In exceptional cases, collectors have seen examples reach around $75,000, depending on the severity of the error and overall condition. Professional grading services play an essential role in determining this value. Experts carefully examine coins using magnification tools to check for surface damage, strike quality, and originality. They assign a grade that reflects the coin's condition, and even a small difference in grading can dramatically change its value. A higher grade coin with strong eye appeal is always more desirable in the collector market. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning coins. It might seem like a good idea to make a coin look shiny and new, but cleaning actually destroys its natural surface. It creates microscopic scratches that cannot be seen easily, but significantly reduce value. Collectors prefer coins in original condition, even if they show slight toning or age, because authenticity matters more than appearance. Another fascinating aspect of the 1981 D dime is that it still appears in circulation today. Unlike ancient coins locked away in collections, these dimes can still be found in everyday pocket change, coin rolls from banks, or forgotten jars stored in homes. This gives collectors a real chance to discover something valuable in the most unexpected places. That possibility is what keeps the excitement alive in modern coin collecting. Most people will never notice anything unusual about a dime. They see it as insignificant, something to be ignored or quickly spent. But collectors know better. They examine mint marks, study fine details, and search for imperfections that others overlook. It is this careful observation that sometimes leads to extraordinary discoveries hidden in plain sight. And here is where the story reaches its peak. While the majority of 1981 D dimes are only worth face value, the most exceptional examples, those with perfect preservation, strong mint errors, and top professional grading, have reached astonishing levels, with elite specimens valued as high as $120,000. It is a powerful reminder that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hold a secret far greater than its appearance suggests. So the next time you receive change, take a closer look before spending it. You might be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined.